Happening on the city's southwest side, police are in the 300 block of Roslyn Avenue near Gaynor Street for a call on a shooting.
Unfortunately, because this is a developing situation, we don't have a whole lot of details right now, but we are expecting to have some details from San Antonio Police. We understand they're going to be holding a news conference about 10:45. Once we get those details, we'll pass it on to you again. But a shooting, apparently multiple people injured there in the 300 block of Roslyn Avenue. We will keep an eye on that and pass it on as we get more information. Meanwhile, today, one of the year's first day of Muertos Fest, Hemisphere Park, the background for the two-day event. There's food, music, and more than 80 ofrendas and altars positioned throughout the park. If you missed today, don't worry. Tomorrow is the last day to physically take part in the celebration. And if you can't make it out, you can watch all of this on All Souls Day. That is this Wednesday, November 1st. We'll have a whole special right here on KSAT 12 at 8 p.m. And for everything related to this year's Muertos Fest, just scan that QR code right there on your screen and it'll take you to all the information.
Well, I am super excited for what's to come.
You ready for some cold weather?
I've been ready, Mia.
Been ready?
We have been ready.
It's been so warm and muggy over the past couple of days, but yeah, this is kind of a transition to winter-like conditions. You're gonna want to get the big coats out, especially by Monday morning, because after this front moves in tomorrow afternoon, temperatures are quickly going to drop. And we're expecting Monday to pretty much stay in the 40s, feeling even colder. But check this out. Okay, so earlier today, 5 p.m., we actually reached into the upper 80s here in San Antonio. Around 87 degrees is what the thermometer reading was officially. But by the same time tomorrow, about 30 degrees colder. We're expecting our 5 p.m. temperature somewhere around 56 after we see that front fully push through San Antonio. So if you're headed out tomorrow morning and you're going to be back inside by about lunchtime, you're not going to need the jacket. It's really as we head into the mid-afternoon hours that we're expecting this front to push through the Alamo City. I think we reach the upper 70s, maybe briefly the low 80s into the early afternoon around 1 to 2 p.m. But then we quickly see that boundary move through. Those gusty north winds are going to kick on into Sunday evening. You can see just how quickly those temperatures are expected to drop in the 50s by 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and then eventually into the 40s as we head into the evening hours and even more so through the overnight. So let's talk about the setup, the position of this front right now. We're in the upper 70s. It is humid out there here in San Antonio, but as you take a look farther up to the north, already 50s for places like Dallas, stretching over to Abilene. It's actually below freezing right now, 31 degrees in Amarillo. It's not going to get that cold here in San Antonio, but we are going to see this taste of winter move into south central Texas. So let's time out the futurecast temperatures for tomorrow. This is about 7 a.m. You can see most of us still warm, still humid in the 70s. Watch as we advance this on in time. This is 10 a.m. The front still positioned just off to our north, closing in on the Austin area. But as we head into the lunchtime hour, it's now pushed through portions of the hill country near Kerrville as well as Rock Springs over into the southern Edwards Plateau. It moves through Bexar County by about 2, 3 o'clock. Temperatures start to drop. Low 80s expected though on the south side of that front where it hasn't quite reached you yet. But then notice as we head into 5, 6 p.m. it continues to work its way southbound. We're already in the 50s by 6 p.m. here in San Antonio, and then we'll continue to see those temperatures fall into the 40s by 10 o'clock tomorrow night. And then as we head into Monday morning, by the morning commute and drive to school, it is going to be cold out there. Low 40s expected, but when you factor in a gusty north wind gusts upwards of 40 miles per hour, wind chills in in the 30s are expected, and that's likely going to be the theme throughout the day on Monday. So you're going to want to bundle up the kiddos and also have the umbrella ready too, because we've got some scattered rain chances in the forecast, which we'll talk about in just a second. You can see those winds really Monday. Those will pick up upwards of about 40 miles per hour Sunday night too, and then start to taper off a bit as we head into Halloween on Tuesday. Let's talk about those rain chances. Right now, just a few showers closer to Fredericksburg. Tomorrow morning, pretty isolated. That continues into the early afternoon as the front moves through. But then as we head into tomorrow evening, 7, 8, 9 p.m., we start to see some more scattered activity pop up. We've got about a 70% potential in the forecast by Sunday night and into early Monday morning before the sun comes up. Then on Monday, just a 60% chance for some additional lingering scattered activity there as well. So yes, you will want the rain gear there too. Into Halloween on Tuesday, just a 20% isolated potential early rain chances clearing off though by trick-or-treat time. So that is great news there. Wind is also going to be subsiding, but it is going to be cold by trick-or-treat time. So you will want to bundle up with temperatures near about 50 degrees. After that, still cold Wednesday and Thursday mornings especially, but we'll slowly start to warm things back up as we head into next weekend, guys.
Almost like Mother Nature knew when to turn the faucet off for trick-or-treating.
Yes, the timing is looking to work out pretty well.
Good.
So
Yay.
That's great news.
I'm just happy my Indiana Jones won't be sweaty under his leather jacket this year. All right, Mary, some big stories out there tonight as we wrap up the regular high school football season.
Yes, big stories, important time of year. Teams are chasing playoff seeding, and we'll bring you to a few games that went down in town today. Will Alamo Heights stay undefeated? We'll have the answer coming up. Plus, the UTSA football team earned another win in front of its home crowd. The Roadrunners take care of business against East Carolina. Highlights coming up. We are in the heart of Halloween weekend, and the Lanier cheerleaders went all in with their costumes this year. We love to see it. As for the game, Lanier was hosting one of the best teams in the state in Class 5A Division II, Alamo Heights, looking to stay undefeated this afternoon. And it wouldn't take long for the Mules to get in the end zone. First possession at the 1 yard line, QB Colin Ernst bashes his way across the goal line for the touchdown. Second possession, Ernst going to the air, finding Trip Johnson, who puts on the burners using the whole field. He takes a couple of hits on his way in for an 18-yard touchdown. The Mules stay on top, defeating Lanier 61-7. When we got to Gustafson Stadium, it was halftime and the Brennan Bears were already beating Holmes 56-0. The second half was more of the same, handing it off to Aiden Martin, who jukes past Holmes defenders and trots in for the 29-yard touchdown. Brennan gets its 7th win, 69-7 the final. Over at Heroes, the MacArthur Brahmas weren't enjoying the sunshine against New Braunfels Canyon because the Canyon Cougars were up 34-0 at the start of the fourth quarter. That's where QB David Waring finds Kaysen Brooks down the middle of the field for another Cougars touchdown as Canyon wins it in a 40-0 shutout. Frank Harris and the UTSA football team welcomed East Carolina to the Alamo City. The Roadrunners were looking to stay undefeated in AAC play. Here's Harris connecting with Tyke Ogle-Kellogg in the end zone for a 43-yard TD. That was one of 2 touchdowns Tyke had in the game. Harris threw for 395 yards, while the Roadrunners outgained the Pirates 515 to 366. UTSA wins it 41-27. To finish the month 4-0. We'll hear from the team later on in the show. All right, the 7th-ranked Texas Longhorns trying to keep their college football playoff hopes alive, hosting BYU. Xavier Worthy gets Texas going, taking the punt to pay dirt for a 74-yard TD return. Just electric. No Quinn Ewers this week. Redshirt freshman Alec Murphy makes his debut. Murphy rips one to Adonai Mitchell for the 30-yard score as Texas cruises to a 35-6 win over BYU. The Longhorns improved to 7-1 overall. to College Station now, where Texas A&M looks to overcome a 2-game skid with South Carolina visiting. There's some great blocking as Reuben Owens runs in for the 14-yard Aggie touchdown. Then A&M found the end zone twice in about a minute span right before halftime. There's Anais Smith evading defenders for the 42-yard catch and run TD, and Texas A&M stays on top from there on out to get back in the win column with a 30-17 win. Now over at Trinity University, the Tigers hosting the Millsaps Majors. The Tigers pounced on Millsap's mistakes after a blocked punt. The Tigers in the red zone, QB Tucker Horn zings one to Caleb Crawford to take the 7-0 lead. Then in the second possession, they hand it off to legend Grigsby, who spins and dances his way in for the score. Trinity dominated this one 63-0. All right, matinee kickoff in Lawrence, and Kansas upsets 6th-ranked Oklahoma 38-33. Quite the send-off from the Jayhawks to the Sooners in their final year in the Big 12. Okay, Iowa State gives Baylor its 5th loss in the season by a 30-18 final. Both Texas State and Troy came into the day 5-2 overall. Bobcats fall 31-13, and 6-1 Incarnate Word at Lamar. Battle of the Cardinals. UIW takes it 17-7. Now later in the show, we are talking Game 2 of the World Series. The Rangers took Game 1 last night with this walk-off home run from Adolis Garcia, but Arizona spoils the fun tonight. We'll have more coming up.
Pretty exciting way to finish a game last night. We'll see you in a little bit, Mary.
Yes.
All right, coming up on the Nightbeat, a West Side restaurant was dealing with some issues, but it wasn't what really got them in trouble. It's not that restaurant. We'll tell you what we're talking about when we come back.
A low score on a recent health inspection was the least of the problems that a West Side Mongolian grill was facing.
Yeah, this week the landlord told me the business was being evicted for being behind on rent, and they left behind a big mess behind the kitchen door. Genghis Grill, formerly located in the 8600 block of State Highway 151, got a 77 on a late August health inspection that included 6 repeat violations. Multiple dead roaches were found in numerous traps around the business. The buffet cold hold was too warm. The dishwashing machine had 0 sanitizer. The bar area didn't have any hot water and was shut down by the inspector. When I stopped by this week, I learned the restaurant was no longer in operation. This letter posted on the front door stated they were evicted for not paying rent. The landlord was in the process of clearing the place out.
Oh, yeah. They were disgusting.
Really? What happened?
They're dirty. They didn't pay rent.
The landlord said there were still roaches inside, and she hoped to have a new tenant once everything is cleaned up. Gibby's La Cocina, located in the 2600 block of Nogalito Street, got a failing score of 69 on their August 30th inspection. Hair was found in the sugar. It was removed. Clean utensils were being stored in dirty containers. A worker touched the floor, then touched food prep areas. The inspector stepped in and asked them to wash their hands. They were storing bread in to-go-style bags. The mop sink was clogged and unusable, while another sink didn't have cold water. A roach was seen along a wall, and there was a buildup of grease on a vent hood. A re-inspection was required. The business was not open when I stopped by this week, and a posting online showed they were temporarily closed. Jim's Coffee Shop, located in the 8400 block of Broadway, earned an 85 on their late August inspection. The score was a departure from previous scores in the high 90s. According to this report, it appears they were dealing with a roach problem at the time. An uncovered mix used to batter chicken was contaminated by a roach. The inspector wrote there was a significant amount of cockroaches at different life stages throughout the establishment. The report shows the business was actively receiving pest control services. The floors were also dirty with grease and food debris. We're behind the kitchen door. Tim Gerber, KSAT 12 News. On to happier things. A few ghosts and goblins were out a little early before Halloween night over at the Boo Bash Parade and Carnival, and the ringleader looks a little familiar. I don't know if we've seen him yet, but Our own John Paul Barajas was out there serving as the Grand Marshal of the parade and as one of the judges for the Halloween costume contest. Of course, there were games and candy. It was all put on by the Lindsay Place HOA, and KSAT was happy to be a sponsor of that event. Looks like they had a howling good time.
I thought it was the dog. JP's not as cute as the dog. Sorry,
Yeah.
JP. With Halloween just a few days away, Christus Children's is helping to bring a smile to some families as their precious little ones are being treated in the NICU. The staff there dressing the little patients in the tiniest, cutest costumes.
Oh, wow.
Their outfits just adding to their cuteness. As you can see, there was Barbie making an appearance along with the football player and a UPS driver. Cannot get over that one. A hospital official says those patients that can't leave on Halloween Day, they're hosting a trick-or-treat event throughout the lobby.
Was that M&M?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Oh, there's a little Wemby.
I could look at this video for hours.
Yeah, let's put that up online and just go to that all the time. All right, from the holiday to another one, there's a bunch of them coming our way. If you are planning to hop on a plane for one of those, buckle up and book now, because travel experts tell us airfares for Thanksgiving and Christmas and the other holidays are about to get more expensive.
Not that shocking. 12 on your sides, Marilyn Moritz shows us deals and ways to avoid sky-high prices.
Ducking.
I'm going to Chicago.
Winetta just landed, but she's already dreaming of a white Christmas.
Have you booked your flight yet? No, ma'am, I have not. I'm waiting for the deals to start.
She may want to get a move on.
You don't want to end up, again, waiting till the last minute and finding just not only expensive flights, but ridiculously expensive flights.
Katie Nastro with Going.com says the time to book is now. But if grandma isn't counting on you for turkey and pie, here's an idea.
Thanksgiving is actually the hidden best time out of the entire year to look to go international.
Right now, Nastro says you can book a Thanksgiving week round-trip flight to Dublin for $555, Montreal $396, and Panama City $392. Joseph McDonald hasn't booked his holiday sleigh ride yet either.
I have not booked my flights, and it's certainly questionable what those flights and rates are going to be at this point.
Fares will likely take off soon, so here are a couple December domestic deals right now. Round trip to San Francisco, $208, and New York, $258. To find the best airfares, Nastro says be flexible with your dates and check out 2 one-way flights.
So it might be cheap to fly out on American to your destination, but then cheaper to fly back on Delta back to San Antonio.
But if you miss the boat or a plane on holiday flights, consider this. You can get some of the best deals if you fly after the first of the year.
Something really amazing happens where airfare drops up to nearly 80%.
She says January into February is the best time to land a deal, and without the crowds. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
All right, welcome back. Heading outside with live cam. We do have some cloud cover in place. Temperatures in the upper 70s. Definitely still feeling the warmth and the humidity out there. And that was a big theme today. It was a warmer than average day across South Central Texas. We got up to 87 degrees here in San Antonio. That's actually 3 degrees shy of the existing record high for the day, which is 90. But a few areas did hit 90 degrees. Gonzales, New Braunfels, Hondo 91, 93 down I-35 in Cotulla. Not going to be near as hot tomorrow, but I do think we reach into the upper 70s, low 80s before we see that strong cold front move through San Antonio early to mid-afternoon. And then after that, much colder. 40s expected Monday, then slowly climbing our way into the 50s on Halloween, 60s Wednesday and into Thursday, and then back into the fall 70s by Friday and into next weekend. So once again, we'll talk about these big changes headed our direction over the next 24 hours, plus get you some KSAT Connect photos of a full moon tonight. That's after the break.
I'm glad this cold front's coming in. 'Cause I know we've said this. I can't take another full day.
I'm trying to think of all the things I'm going to do when it's cool outside.
Everything. We're going to do everything because we've just been doing it sweaty.
Honestly, it's time to bust out the hot cocoa already.
Yes.
Hot apple cider. Maybe that's more of a fall thing. Some apple cider action.
Spiked apple
Yeah. There you
Saturday
go.
night.
If you're Tim,
It's Saturday night.
There-
When you get home.
when we get off work.
That's right.
Monday is my Saturday, technically.
Oh, look
so
at
it is
you.
going to be so much fun on the couch with a blanket and some awesome fall movies. That's for sure. Okay, before we get there, though, we had actually a lot of interest in this on KSAT Connect earlier this evening. Today is actually a full moon. This is the full hunter's moon, and it looks pretty spooky. Right? Yeah, we had some partly cloudy skies earlier, and that allowed some folks to snap some really good photos. So this was out into Hannes. Here's another one, 281 near Bitters there on the north side. So it's called the Hunter's Moon in October because this was the time of year when the hunting of certain game animals would begin. So that's how we got the name for October's full moon. So we've got more photos up on KSAT Connect. Thank you to everybody that sent those in. Now let's talk about those big changes headed our direction. So this strong cold front arrives tomorrow by mid-afternoon for us here in San Antonio. Temperatures quickly dropping after it passes you by, dropping by about 20 to even 30 degrees by Sunday evening. Gusty north winds kicking on, gusts upwards of about 40 miles per hour expected late Sunday night and especially by Monday morning. Increasing rain chances tomorrow night. That does linger into Monday, especially throughout the first half of the day. So as you're stepping out for the Monday morning drive, definitely get the heavy coat and also the rain gear. Let's talk all about it. So tomorrow morning, it's just going to be warm and muggy, waking up to the low 70s here in San Antonio. We reach for the upper 70s, low 80s by and just slightly after lunchtime. Then we see this powerful cold front work in by about 2 to 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Then here comes all of that cold Canadian air just racing into south central Texas. We're in the 50s tomorrow evening and then eventually into the 40s by tomorrow night. Now, of course, that cold air moving in via a gusty north wind. You can see by 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon after the front pushes through, just some wind gusts upwards of 20 to 25 miles per hour. That's the theme into about 5, 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. But by this time tomorrow, already expecting to see some wind gusts upwards of 35 to even 40 miles per hour. And that is going to be the case Monday morning as well. So expect Monday to be blustery. It is going to be cold. It is going to be rainy as well. We've got that 60% potential for some scattered rain expected. Here's what that looks like on your futurecast. Again, you can see it's pretty isolated tomorrow afternoon as the front pushes through. But as we head into tomorrow evening and especially tomorrow night and before the sun comes up Monday morning, there's that 70% chance for scattered rain to push across the area. That will slowly start to come down, taper off a touch into Monday afternoon. Just a stray chance for a shower Tuesday morning. Halloween trick-or-treating in the evening on Tuesday. It'll be chilly, but other than that, skies are clearing. Rain chances are out of here, so that's great. And then we dry things out and slowly start to warm things up throughout the rest of next week, guys.
Pumped. Thank you, Mia.
You're welcome.
Beautiful forecast.
He's
Thank you,
on
Mia.
it today with the puns.
All right, I did not realize that the World Series was on tonight because it was football, but there was the World Series game too. Here's
Let's
Mary.
pretend it didn't happen.
Hey, I like that. I mean, back-to-backs, it's a lot to keep track of. But if you're a Texas fan, maybe it's good if you didn't catch the game because the D-backs dominated to tie the World Series at 1 game apiece. Plus, UTSA earns a big win today, but after the game, the team didn't celebrate in the locker room. QB Frank Harris tells us why. Texas was up 1-0 over Arizona entering Game 2 of the World Series. To Arlington, D-backs righty Merrill Kelly pitching lights out, but finally a spark. Mitch Garver a leadoff home run in the 5th inning. Later, Kelly just showing no mercy. He struck out 9 in 7 innings pitched. And in the 8th, D-backs Ketel Marte extends his hitting streak to 18 games, breaking a postseason record, a 2-out, 2-run single to extend the D-backs lead. And it just wasn't in the cards tonight for the Texas Rangers as the Diamondbacks win 9-1. The final not even a full representation of how dominant Arizona was in this game. The World Series is tied at 1 game apiece. Max Scherzer is on the bump for Monday's Game 3. The UTSA Roadrunners are tied atop the AAC standings with SMU and Tulane as the only undefeated league teams. The Roadrunners beat East Carolina 41-27 today, but QB Frank Harris and company not totally satisfied.
You know, we're not really satisfied. Like I said, the mood in the locker room wasn't what you would have thought after a win. So we got to watch the film, get better from it, and get ready for next week.
We're getting better. We're getting better. You know, we're a better football team today than we were yesterday. Now we took quite a few injuries tonight, so we'll have to realign some folks, and that always slows down the progress a little bit. But nobody's healthy this time of year, and these are where the real games start.
The San Antonio Spurs came out on the winning end of a nail-biter against the Houston Rockets, 126-122 in overtime last night. Devin Vassell led the Silver and Black with 25 points, while Victor Wembanyama recorded his first career double-double with 21 points and 12 rebounds. Most importantly, the young group already showed growth from its loss to Dallas.
You know, in that Dallas game, it was real back and forth, and it got very hectic at times, and I feel like that's where we lost the game. You know, there's multiple possessions under the 5-minute stretch where we came down and just didn't get a shot off, turnovers, bad shots, whatever it was. And so, you know, watching film, talking with the guys and everything, we knew that, you know, that's a game that we can win, and we're going to have to win to be able to figure out how to turn this thing around.
The Spurs' execution and poise was much better in their second showing. Now tomorrow night, San Antonio is back under the national spotlight as NBA TV is set to televise the Spurs versus the Clippers.
Since it's still so fresh, of course, it's all I'm going to be thinking about this game, but after a couple of days, I think I'll just reflect on the good times with the guys in the locker room. Just reflect on all the good moments that we had.
Reigning champion San Antonio FC saw its season come to a disappointing end last night when the club fell to top-seeded Sacramento Republic FC 3-1 in the USL Championship Western Conference semifinals. SAFC finishes the season with a club record 63 regular season goals. We'll be right back.